Marcy, have you Googled why Bitcoin is crashing?
I can honestly say I have not.
You could dishonestly say it
Ever.
too, and I would probably never. Anyway, I actually ran across it. I was doing some research on some videos we're going to make about what's going on with the stock market, and I just kept seeing
Bitcoin.
And well, the day that I did it, I think it $200 billion has been wiped out of that market with the recent corrections. So
we're going to talk about that today.
We're going to go back to one of my favorite segments, Google This. We're going to talk about what's going on with the crypto markets, why you should care,
and what to do about it.
I'm Mark McKay.
And I'm Marcy McKay.
Welcome to Sage Smart Solutions, where you can join us weekly to learn new and exciting ways to protect your assets and retire tax-free.
So let's get to it.
All right, here we are at the Google. Let's see what happens.
Mr. Google.
Let's just type in BTC for Bitcoin.
See, I wouldn't have known that.
Look at that chart.
It is up, down, up, down, up.
You know what that is?
Scary.
That's today.
Oh, that's just today?
Which, you know.
Okay, 1D. Okay.
On a $30,000 unit, you know, so those swings do look pretty dramatic. And it was up at 8% at one point today and down a little bit. But it's down about 40% year to date.
Which is scary.
It's terrifying because why?
Yeah.
It's supply and demand. So you get a lot of these people, you bring up, or you ask questions about why is crypto an appropriate investment for the long term? Why am I so stupid for not understanding what you're saying, which is what they're implying. But look at year to date, down 37%. And I'm not saying that 20 years from now it's not going to be worth $400,000 a unit.
Right.
I don't know. I just don't think it's too risky for a core part of your retirement accounts.
So click on 6M. Is that 6 months?
6 months. Yeah, that'll be real similar to year to date because we're in May. But
it's been down.
Yeah. Ever since the first of the year, tech stocks and crypto have all been.
Okay, so I will proclaim I don't get what.
But let's
Bitcoin
look at some of the other this is not to explain what crypto is. I've got things to do on Sunday,
like it's
so
made up.
Yeah, well, it is, but it is very clever. The register, the ledger, I get it. And I do have some serious issues with the institute, the B&Ps and the Bank of Americas and the Goldman Sachs. These banks that it really is a rigged system in their favor. So,
but just these top two articles, I think that's terrifying. Cryptocurrency Luna crashes to $0 as UST falls further from dollar peg. What's Luna?
Luna's just another coin that they're trying to tie it to the US dollar to give some stability to other crypto. Very complicated what they're doing, but it basically broke that dollar link and went down to zero. I had not really been that familiar with Luna, except I kept seeing some guy saying this is going to be at $120 by about this time.
So is Luna a type of Bitcoin or
no?
It's
a crypto. It's another crypto
okay.
like Ethereum or
okay.
There's 50 of them out there now. But I don't know that given the sell-off, a 30 to 40% pullback is significant. So if you are going into this as, I think that Bitcoin maybe looks a little better than the US dollar over the next 5 years.
Right.
Take $10,000. If you want to set it and forget it and put it in a Roth IRA, invite me to your yacht party in 50 years if it works out.
But this other article, more than 200 billion erased from entire crypto market in a day as sell-off.
Sell-off continues is what they were saying, and we did get a little bit of an update on today. And
okay, 200 billion's terrifying to me.
Well, the fact that how quickly it loses.
Right.
I was reading an article about Bill Miller, who I'm a little bit guilty of when I throw names around. I forget that not everybody watched CNBC throughout most of the 90s. I swear, it was such a big deal to get that TV in my office there, pump in that.
You have talked about Bill Miller for years, so I know you trust what he says. What does he say?
Well, I don't know that I respect what it says.
Right.
He's a big hedge fund manager, money manager. He's basically kind of managing his own stuff now. He's an investor, but he's a billionaire, or he was. He was in December. I haven't looked today. But he said he's been through two 80% drawdowns already. So, he had $100,000. It was worth $20,000. In his case, he had $30 million and it was worth $6 million.
Right.
And I don't know what he actually had. I'm just saying that it's more likely to be those types of numbers. But he had a margin call. So.
And what does that mean?
Okay, so he had, through your broker, you can, if you didn't think that your stocks were risky enough, we've talked about the power of safe leverage.
Right, yes.
And then the flip side of that coin is risky leverage. Margin is risky leverage. So you have an asset at your brokerage account. Let's say it's worth $100,000. They're like, you're so smart. We're going to let you borrow 50% of that to go buy more. It doesn't have to be more of the same thing. But what happened is, say you've got $100,000, you got buy $50,000 worth of crypto or whatever you've got. If your $100,000 account is in the stock market and it goes down 10, 20, 30%, and then the asset you bought on margin, that you borrowed money from the brokerage,
got it,
to go buy more risky assets. So this is why we call it speculative leverage, risky leverage. That went down. So what the brokerage wants is a very small loan to value ratio, and your asset that they're using as collateral goes down. The asset, the other asset you bought is going down. They're most people would be forced to sell some of that asset that they had bought and put that money into the collateral side.
So Bill Miller has his own money in Bitcoin. Does he have a suggestion for how much people should?
Well, he is very specific. He said he said despite the fact that he's been through two 80% pullbacks,
right,
he doesn't see any reason why sophisticated investors shouldn't have 1% of their liquid net worth. Not their total net worth.
Okay, so
take your house
1%
out.
of the money that I would be willing to lose.
Well, no. Your liquid net worth, you don't necessarily, but it's money that you can go write a check and move it into an investment or an asset or whatever. It's not
1%. I could be cool with
1%. So if you have $1 million in liquid net worth,
right,
you should have about $10,000 in crypto.
I could do that.
And I don't think that that's really a bad idea to pick up. But I also, and Bill Miller also doesn't know. He said he would be much chagrined if it lost 50% of its value, but he would not be surprised from where we are right now. So I still don't understand why a lot of these people will get indignant, and I'm not lumping all millennials together, but when you ask questions about it, they're like, well, this, and this, and there's a limited supply. I get it. They can only issue 21 million Bitcoin or whatever.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that I can't go issue 21 million of Sage Smart tokens.
Marcy coin.
Mark and Marcy coin.
McKay coin.
So
McKay bucks.
That sense of scarcity is a little bit fabricated because it is made up.
Right.
But so is a dollar. I mean, when they're printing those dollars, which brings up another issue. When you go and you buy Bitcoin, when you're tracking Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever your crypto of choice is, how do you value that?
Yeah.
So if I say I have a Bitcoin, it's worth 29,000 what?
Dollars.
Yay! So think about that.
Right.
And I realize that the U.S. dollar is losing its
value.
Well, it's definitely losing its value, but it's also losing its stranglehold as the world's currency.
Right.
Some countries are taking payments in Bitcoin, but explain to me why it's not speculating on currency fluctuations. And I mean that. If you've got a good answer and you've got a good resource that can break it down,
right.
I'm well aware of the fact that this is going to be a portion of most people's portfolios going forward in the future. But I just want everyone to and a 40% correction will wake people up to,
Absolutely.
okay, let's go look at this.
So is there a safer way, even if you only did 1% of your liquid assets, is there still on top of that a safer way to invest in Bitcoin?
Well, I think the key here is that you've got some non-correlated assets.
Okay.
So if you follow the traditional Dave Ramsey's of the world are saying you should go and put, after you meet your match in your 401k and you do your Roth IRA and you put more in your 401k, so you're building this huge tax time bomb. The other miss is the 12% return on equities.
Yeah.
Back it up with numbers. I've just never seen them even come close to attempting to do that. Well, if you cherry pick the dates, yes, you can find one or two mutual funds that have a 12% average annual return for a 20 or 30 year period. But the average investor is getting more like 3 to 5% before taxes. So anyway, so I'm saying that
non-correlated assets.
In order to make your crypto safer, have the core of your retirement assets or your family bank, your money, be not correlated to the stock market, not be correlated to the equity markets.
Right.
Maybe not be in something that can go down 20, 30, 40%. A lot of people on here did not have money in 2001, so you don't know what it's like to have an extended bear market.
Right.
There are a lot of, there were some flat years in the teens, but the last couple of years erased a lot of people's memory of what a sustained bear market can look like and how it can just be devastating, especially if you're in the consumption phase of your retirement accounts. So that being said,
to me, why do you want to gamble with your family's financial future?
Well, obviously, if you're going to make a speculative wager,
right?
The SAGE method that uses guaranteed strategies as our core asset,
right? Double-digit returns, flexibility, safety.
It's not going to make 60% when some country adopts some policy that allows Bitcoin to, that could happen. I've seen it happen with commodities, but it's not a smart retirement plan. It's not a smart savings plan. You can't pay for college if your Bitcoin just crashed.
Right.
You might be able to. I don't know you. But the one way you can do this that makes it a lot safer is, let's say we've got the SAGE method, we've got our family bank set there, we've got all these assets here, and what is one of the cores of our SAGE method? Liquidity. What's another one?
Safety.
Flexibility. Safety too. You know what? And the safety gives us liquidity because we don't have to wait for the timing to be right to go write a check, and it doesn't have to be to go invest into crypto because it's gone from 50 to 30. But that was kind of my point, and I realized I got a little bit off on the rabbit trail there. That if you have the majority of your assets in these equity-based mutual funds, because some talking head lied to you about getting a 12% return, that's where the majority of your assets are, and the stock market is in correction. Let's say the stock market's down 20%. Crypto's down 40%. And you think, oh, I'd really like to go put another $10,000 into Bitcoin right now, but I can't borrow against this anymore because it's gone down, my equity account. I don't want to sell it because it's down and I'll have to pay taxes.
Right. But I think you bring up an interesting
point.
Well,
let me finish that point though. So you wouldn't want to go create that taxable event, take that loss. But if we've got the SAGE method over here, there's a big bucket of money that you have access to. When I say access, I'm saying we will issue you a checkbook, and we also have we got the guys with the pocket protectors that when you say, you know what, if I take $10,000 out now, how does that affect my tax-free income in retirement. And, we can show you very specifically what that looks like. And
you kind of went into the point I was going to make, that the talking heads, there are some talking heads out there that keep proclaiming about 12% returns, but they don't back it up. Whereas with the SAGE method, schedule an appointment. We can show you the math to your family's situation. We can take the numbers, crunch them, show it if you want to do ABC, 1, 2, 3, red, white, and blue, whatever. So it's not magic, it's math. And so since I don't like complicated, since speculative scares me, I want safety. I want liquidity. I want flexibility. And everything you're saying, people are like, well, prove it. Well, we can't.
Let's sit down and do it. But I do think that we're going to do a segment on not just the investments, but retirement. And part of retiring, I'm going to go ahead and get off Google here so you can see us a little better.
It makes me tense, yeah.
So, Bitcoin, crypto, I think it is going to be part of most people's portfolios, 5-10 years from now.
But like you said, 1% I would be comfortable with. I mean, but these it still seems like it's the wild, wild west, and they're trying to figure out.
Well, it is, and I think that's what has people so excited.
Yeah.
Is because if you bought, there's some 70,000 acre ranches.
Yeah.
Stone's throw from here, that are there because somebody in 1892 got there first. So there is a little bit of that.
Yeah.
There are people who bought Bitcoin at 100.
Right. But I do like what you shared, that you can use the SAGE method. We can show people how it will benefit their family and their financial future to do things.
I remember we were talking about retirement.
Yeah.
And if you'll think about it, just think about it, how the past 4 months in the stock market has made you feel.
Yeah.
Let's make that go away in retirement.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's make that go away in the 10 years up to retirement. Because if we can put you together a plan where you're going to have $70,000 in tax-free income,
right,
or $120,000 in tax-free income, and not have to worry about if your 401k all of a sudden gets
just gets hammered.
Well, what if it gets what do they call it when they come and they make you move your yard back because they're going to widen the streets?
Eminent domain.
So that's kind of that's not what I'm going for though. It's but they use eminent domain to apply it, but that like that 10 feet that they move it back or whatever. Help me out in the comment section, people. but the government can do that to your 401k.
Yeah, because they keep changing the rules.
Well, they keep changing. All they have to do is change taxes.
Right.
To reduce your quality of life.
Yep.
And guess what? You won't have any choices if you've got all of your assets in tax deferred accounts. Now, I do know I'm seeing more and more 401ks have Roth features built into them. Take advantage of those. But have multiple streams of tax-free income in retirement.
Right.
Because you see what they're doing, people.
Yeah. Wake up!
And just think how bad it's going to be in 20 years. Anyway, protect yourself from rising taxes, inflation, stock market volatility. Click the Become Our Client. Actually, go to the, click the Become Our Client.
Right. Watch the
link below.
Masterclass.
Watch the class. We'll send you a link, and then we'll set up an appointment.
To see if it's a good fit.
See if it's a good fit. You will learn something new. If nothing else, you will learn something new. And it's a strategy that when that light goes off, you'll be like, oh, we can do this, and we can use this way. We can help keep the farm in the family. We use it all the time for farm succession planning. So, like this video, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming content. Watch the masterclass, set an appointment, protect yourself so that the next time this kind of market volatility happens, you won't care.
That's right.
Have a great week. If you're watching this on a big TV, go ahead and scan the tire cover there, and it will take you to our YouTube page on your phone so you can have access to our Masterclass, a link to set up an appointment, or anything else that you might not see on a TV.